Hello, everyone. It's a cozy day in bed, and welcome back to the Magical Memories with Maddie podcast. A while back, I covered Genie Plus, not realizing they were going to completely change their FastPass system. So today, I'm going to be covering the new FastPass system, Lightning Lane MultiPass, and I'm going to do for both Disneyland and Disney World, just so you guys can see what's what. There's, of course, a blog post for this episode. It's going to be linked below or in the description or wherever, depending on where you're watching from. I'm all cozy in bed. And let's get started. So for Disney World and Disneyland is actually different. So we're going to cover Disney World and then we're going to do Disneyland because it's a little bit less park stuff, For Disney World and Disneyland, they're both prepaid services, but the way that they work is different. At Disney World, you can book up to 3 attractions prior to your trip and individual lightning lanes as well. You can book 7 days prior if you stay on property and 3 days prior if you stay off. So that means you get to book a little bit earlier if you stay on property at Disney World. There are tons of budget-friendly options on property at Disney World. I don't know about the good neighbor hotels, like how that works with Genie Plus, but I can look into it if you want to know, and I'll give you an answer if you book your trip with me, of course. Once you're in the park and you enjoy your first attraction, you can start booking additional selections based off of availability, which of course, availability is subject to change. And if you have a park hopper ticket, you can book for your next park. So like if you have a whole planned out day for what you want to do and you know when you're going to do what, you can kind of book based off of what's available, when it's available for your next park. So whenever you go, you already have it ready to go. And also included with your Genie Plus, I'm still calling it Genie Plus, also included with MultiPass is PhotoPass, which allows you to get all of your attraction photos and your photos taken throughout the day in the parks, which means you don't have to pay for that memory maker if you pay for this pass. Now, for 3 of the 4 parks, it is separated into tiers, and the 4th park, Animal Kingdom, they're all just one tier because there's not that many options, I guess. Maybe it's because they're changing Animal Kingdom soon and they're going to put those attractions tier 1. I'm not sure. Let's get into it. So, of course, to me, this system feels very much like a combination of FastPass Plus from many years ago, where you got to pre-book in tiers, and Genie Plus that we've known recently in the recent years. It feels like they just combined the two. They've said before that they wanted to make Genie Plus easier, allow you to pre-book attractions, and they finally did it. Why they renamed the system, I don't know. But, yeah. So, for Magic Kingdom, the Tier 1 attractions are Big Thunder Mountain, Jungle Cruise, Peter Pan's Flight, Space Mountain, and Tiana's Bayou Adventure. In case I forgot to mention it, because I think I did. You can only book 1 Tier 1 attraction in advance, and then 2 from Tier 2 after you book your Tier 1. So, that means at Magic Kingdom, you are only allowed to book one of those attractions I just named when you book your fast passes prior to your trip. And then you can book 2 from this next tier. The Barnstormer, Buzz Lightyear Space Ranger Spin, Dumbo the Flying Elephant, Haunted Mansion, It's a Small World, Mad Tea Party, The Magic Carpets of Aladdin, Many Adventures of Winnie the Pooh, Mickey's PhilharMagic, Monsters and Cloud Floor, Pirates of the Caribbean, Tomorrowland Speedway, and Under the Sea, Journey of the Little Mermaid. So you get 2 choices out of those and 1 out of the first tier, and the first tier are the most popular attractions, which means once you get to your park that day and you can start booking your next attraction, you should start with those because those are the ones everybody wants and everybody's going to ride. And you may not get all of them in one day. It depends on availability, but you might get more than one at least, which is really cool. And of course, they have 2 single pass attractions in Magic Kingdom. They always have Seven Dwarfs Mine Train and Tron Light Cycle Run. Now, don't forget, Tron Light Cycle Run until I don't know when, is still on virtual queue, so you don't have to pay for the Lightning Lane pass. If you're only going to Magic Kingdom that day, you can try to join virtual queue, but you can prepay for the Tron Light Cycle Run pass 7 days prior if you stay on property, 3 days prior if you stay off. If you really want to ride a certain time for that ride, because that's the beauty of the individual lightning lanes, in my opinion, is that you can actually literally buy for exactly what time you want. At least you could before when I went, but I mean, I did it like day of, so I don't know. Epcot. Tier 1 at Epcot is Frozen Ever After, Remy's Ratatouille Adventure, and Soarin' Around the World. 3 attractions here. There's not as many attractions in Epcot as there are in Magic Kingdom. I don't think there's as many attractions in any of the other parks as there are in Magic Kingdom, though. But yeah, I do like that this one only has 3. It's a little bit easier once you get to the park. But what I don't like is, other than maybe one option on here, I don't think I would want to ride anything from Tier 2. That's just me. Tier 2 includes Disney and Pixar's Short Film Festival, Journey into Imagination with Figment, Living with the Land, Mission Space, The Seas with Nemo and Friends, Spaceship Earth, and Turtle Talk with Crush. And of course, the single pass attraction is Guardians of the Galaxy Cosmic Rewind. So it seems, of course, the trend, if you haven't figured it out, is the most popular attraction is single pass. And then the ones following are Tier 1. Now, Guardians of the Galaxy is still relatively new, so of course it's still on virtual queue, so you can also book virtual queue. That one is a little bit easier to get, I hear, than Tron. Tron is a harder one. A lot of people can't seem to get it till 1 p.m. sometimes. You really got to have your expertise for booking virtual queues, and I might talk about that at the end of this video if I don't forget. For Hollywood Studios, which is the last one to have 2 tiers, we have Tier 1 with Mickey Minnie's Runaway Railway, Millennium Falcon, Smuggler's Run, Rock and Roller Coaster starring Aerosmith, and Slinky Dog Dash. Who put Millennium Falcon on this list is my question. I didn't realize it was that popular. Tier 2. Alien Swirling Saucers, Beauty and the Beast, Live on Stage, Disney Junior Play and Dance, For the First Time in Forever, a Frozen Sing-Along, Celebration, Indiana Jones, Epic Stunt Spectacular, Muppet Vision 3D, Star Tours, Twilight Zone Tower of Terror, and Toy Story Mania. So they have some good options here, Star Tours, Tower of Terror, Toy Story Mania, to make it worth having both options to choose from. Epcot, I just don't feel it. And then the single pass attraction is Rise of Resistance, of course. If you don't know, Disney World recently actually added a single rider line to Rise of Resistance. So if you're fine with your party getting split up, you can also always use the single rider line to bypass the line on Rise of Resistance if you couldn't get there to ride it super early in the morning, or you can jump in line right before the park closes like a lot of people do. You don't have to pay for those lightning lanes if you really don't want to. But that one is not on virtual queue unless it's a party event, and the only party event they have at Hollywood Studios is Jollywood Nights at Christmas time. For Animal Kingdom, the attractions you can book with MultiPass is Dinosaur, Expedition Everest, Feathered Friends in Flight, Festival of the Lion King, Finding Nemo, The Great Big Blue, and Beyond, It's Stuff to Be a Bug, Cali River Rapids, Kilimanjaro Safari, and Navi River Journey. You get to pick 3 out of those, which I think is pretty great, because there's a few shows here, like Finding Nemo, It's Tough to Be a Bug, Feathered Friends in Flight, Festival of the Lion King. So you can kind of really pick out which ones you really want to do out of that. And of course, the single pass attraction for this park is Flight of Passage. Before I move on to Disneyland, I just want to also remind you of one little thing. Attractions may vary by date, subject to change or closure, are limited in availability, and are not guaranteed, and may not be available at all on the day of your visit or at the time of selection or redemption. Availability can change throughout the day. To learn about any closures or long-term refreshments, you can check the details about the attraction on the website or the mobile app for whichever Disneyland or Disney World that you are attending. Now, there's a little bit more of that noted in Disneyland than Disney World because of I don't really know, but there's some notes I have for Disneyland too. But yeah, that's that for that. I really think if I go through these and I wanted to go through these and tell you which ones I would book, just for fun. So for Magic Kingdom, for Tier 1, I'm going to book Tiana's just because I've never ridden it before. That also, though, does depend on the weather. If it is cold, I am not going to ride Tiana's no matter how much I want to because I've never ridden it before, because I don't want to get wet if it's going to be cold, because cold and wet is never fun. So if it's cold, I'm probably going to do Space Mountain just because it's a fave. I feel like I could book Big Thunder in the park. And then from Tier 2, I get 2 options. I'm going to pick Pirates. I love Pirates. And I'm probably going to pick Haunted Mansion. Those 2 I feel like are the ones out of Tier 2 that I would book for Magic Kingdom. And then the rest, honestly, probably depends on how I feel that day and what the wait times are like, because some of these probably don't need one, but it depends. And I'm probably not buying a single pass. I'll just go ride Seven Dwarfs first thing. If I go to Magic Kingdom first. If I don't, if I'm park hopping and I know I'm going to Magic Kingdom later in the day, then I'll buy the single pass. Epcot, I'm going to book Ratatouille. Like, say what you want, but I love Ratatouille. And I can book Soarin' in the park 9 times out of 10, so I'll book that one later. And then I don't care about literally any of the other rides in Tier 2, so just to book, I'd probably book like Living with the Land and Spaceship Earth, and then after I get to the park, I'd probably cancel them and just start booking in the park, like Tier 1 attractions. And of course, we're doing single pass Guardians. In fact, I'd be more likely to just do Guardians if I could. But usually when you do the 7 days in advance, it kind of makes you probably do all of your days. So there's that. For Hollywood Studios, I'm going to book Slinky because it's super fun. And then from Tier 2, I'm going to do Tower of Terror. And Toy Story Mania, because Star Tours never needs a fast pass. If it does, why am I there? It's too busy. And then, of course, I don't pay for Rise of Resistance. I'll just go there first or last thing during Skip Fantasmic, because I did Fantasmic last time, and it's a great show, but I would much rather have ridden the rides with, like, no waits. I was kind of mad at myself for riding that ride and then walking around Galaxy's Edge and then running to Fantasmic. I was like, I could have just ridden, like, so many rides in this park. And then for Animal Kingdom, Everest, Safari. I really don't care about anything else. I'll probably book Navi River Journey just because it's there. But I might book Lion King because it's fun. And then I've never paid for Flight of Passage, but I would if it's still $11 like I think it is. Although that might be Seven Dwarfs that I'm thinking of. So, no. Let's move on to Disneyland. Now, I have done Genie Plus at Disneyland. I went to Disneyland a couple years ago, and it feels like this system is very much the same as it was when it was Genie Plus. You could buy Genie Plus with your ticket, you book when you get there, It feels like it works the exact same, so I really don't understand why they changed the system. I feel like all they really did was change the name of the system because it sounds literally the same. Let's get into it. The single pass attractions at Disneyland are Radiator Springs Racers at DCA and Star Wars Rise of Resistance at Disneyland Park. Now, these attractions do not open with early park entry if you are staying on site. They were open with the regular park day, but if you're staying on site, you can go get in that line 30 minutes earlier than everybody else, and you might get a little bit further up. So these are definitely good options that you don't have to pay for single passes, and you can just go get in those lines. Radiator Springs Racers does have a single rider line, I believe, and Rise of Resistance doesn't at Disneyland, but they might bring it there if it's successful at Disney World. They're still pretty new at Disney World. So, for Disneyland Park, the attractions that you can book are Autopia, Big Thunder Mountain, Buzz Lightyear Astro Blasters, Haunted Mansion, Indiana Jones Adventure, It's a Small World, Matterhorn, Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway, Millennium Falcon Smuggler's Run, Pirates of the Caribbean, Roger Rabbit's Cartoon Spin, Space Mountain, and Star Tours. And as of the recording of this, which is in September of 24, in case you're listening way later, Haunted Mansion, when it's under holiday mode, is not a lightning lane available. It's under virtual queue, and Pirates may be temporarily unavailable. Also, I wanted to let you guys know that for this, Disneyland, it's now broken into tiers, but you can't book your first ride until you scan into the park. So that means if you don't get into the park until like 10 o'clock in the morning, you can't book your first fast pass until 10 o'clock in the morning. You don't get to book prior to that. You don't get any advanced bookings. To be fair, there's only 3 hotels on property, and you're already getting that perk of like early entry when you can start booking at early entry. You can start booking at 7 a.m. as early as you can get in, whatever. So it's completely up to how you do your vacation for when you get to book those attractions. For Disney California Adventure Park, the attractions are Goofy Sky School, Grizzly River Run, Guardians of the Galaxy Mission Breakout, Incredicoaster, The Little Mermaid, Ariel's Undersea Adventure, Monsters Inc., Mike and Sully to the Rescue, Soarin', Around the World, Toy Story Midway Mania, and Web Slingers. Now, when I went a few years ago, it was quite easy to book these. You definitely want to know a good order of which ones are the most popular. You can probably find a million people telling you. I can tell you if you book a trip with me. Please, Maddie World at your feet, hit me up on Instagram, and I will gladly help you book your trip and give you all the best tips. But basically, what you really need is just a little expertise. Disneyland's is a little bit easier to deal with, and I feel like because a lot of people that go to Disneyland are locals, and so they don't go like first thing in the morning. So the first couple of hours of a park day at Disney at all is going to be like the best time to ride everything. Like we literally rode like everything in Disney California Adventure Park, well, almost everything, with Genie Plus, like the Genie Plus ones that we cared about, which we did Guardians Mission Breakout, Incredicoaster, Soarin', Toy Story Mania, which we didn't even get Genie Plus for, and Web Slingers. We rode 5 attractions before lunchtime. And we didn't care about Goofy's. It was too cold for Grizzly. We didn't do Little Mermaid, and we never did Monsters Inc. But yeah, we did like all of those. And we had breakfast. We like walked around. I've watched Avengers shows. Like we spent a good amount of time just in Avengers campus during that time. So it's very easy to get things done in that park. So that pretty much covers MultiPass. It's very similar to Genie Plus, especially on Disneyland's part, but it's a little different. I do like that you can pre-book attractions, but they're broken up into tiers, so it's like FastPass Plus used to be. And I remember that's how it was. Of course, we didn't have some of those attractions we have now. Back then, they had different ones, but some of them we did. So it was a little bit different, but yeah, that pretty much covers MultiPass. If you guys have any recommendations for videos of things you want me to talk about, please comment. Let me know, because I mean, I'm kind of just like randomly picking topics over here, because I know so much that I don't know what to talk about when it comes to Disney. And I literally just opened Disney World's website today and decided what to talk about by literally just being like, oh yeah, I forgot they changed it to MultiPass. Let's talk about that. We haven't talked about it yet. And that was that. So anyway, I'll see you guys next week for the next episode. And I hope you guys enjoyed watching or listening to this one. And have a magical day.